Hey everybody, this is Will. We're hanging out at the Yamaha booth looking at some of the really cool keyboards. I see so many synthesizers around here. This is like synth heaven. I love it. Hanging out with Blake. Blake's going to show us a few things. You mentioned a few updates you guys have.
Yeah.
Can we start there and then just take us through some of the keyboards you guys have?
Sure. Well, this is the YC series. This is a YC61 right here. This has a waterfall action keyboard, so it's like that classic organ feel on here.
Feels
so
great.
we redesigned this waterfall action for a kind of more of an organ-focused customer.
Okay.
We also have a YC73 and a YC88. They're all the same internally. The difference is the action. The 73 is a 73-note balanced hammer action, but it weighs about 31 pounds.
Wow.
So it's really great for a gigging keyboardist that wants a smaller kind of form factor, but still wants the weighted action.
Okay.
And then we also have the YC88, which is graded hammer, natural wood, triple sensor, more of that kind of pianist vibe, but they're all the same. This is an organ-focused stage keyboard, so it has...
I like the drawbars.
Yeah, the drawbars are very cool. The drawbars actually have different coloring in here for upper and lower manuals in here. And very easily kind of to see where things are in here. Yeah, it's a great design. It's a classic kind of organ drawbar design, but with a little bit of an update.
I like that.
One of the things that we did with this, there are OS updates that add not only new features, but new sounds and new effects and things like that.
Okay.
With this one, we're on OS 1.2. So 1.2 adds, the biggest thing is a new rotary speaker effect that you can find where you go into the sound area, go to rotary speaker and type. There's classic, there's overdrive, and those were the original ones, but we add a new one that's called Studio.
Okay.
And Studio is one that has a much wider kind of presence in the stereo field. It has a little bit more breathiness, and it's been a really, really big update to this, especially with the drawbar organ communities that heard that and say, wow, that's really cool. This really sounds great. This is really a serious contender.
I love that.
Another thing that's cool about this keyboard is that it has a external keyboard mode where I can use this as a top keyboard, and if I want to play the lower manual off of a lower keyboard, I can literally go in here to external keyboard and set that just to play the lower manual, but I still have the up. Or I could play the piano. Let's say you have a weighted action keyboard that you're kind of done with the piano sound, but you still like the action. You can play this piano here, and in the keys section, you can play one of our, like the CFX Concert Grand piano from the bottom keyboard. So it's versatile as a top keyboard in that way as well.
That's awesome.
Last thing I'll show you here, in the organ section, we added some new FM organs. So these FM organs, you'll see that the drawbars are a little bit different color in here.
Yeah.
That's because these are what are called carriers in FM synthesis. They're the ones that make the sound. The modulator is this one right here. Those don't make sound, but what they do is they interact with the carrier and they add sideband partials and brightness as you pull this in.
Yeah.
So it's a different way to kind of approach FM synthesis, and that's feedback, which feeds back the sound of an operator into itself. It's basic FM synthesis, but with a drawbar kind of a interface, which is really kind of cool. And it just is another way to sort of experience FM synthesis in a real-time, hands-on.
I love stuff that makes things more accessible.
Yeah.
And this to me is like, this is not scary.
Yeah.
This is like, I can put my hands on it, what I
use
hear,
this to teach FM synthesis to people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because people can hear it immediately. If you pull like this one down here, that's the modulator. If that's the only one out, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Because it has to have a carrier.
That's great.
What this is going to do is add more sideband partials and upper harmonics and more timbre to it.
That's really, really cool.
So it's a cool way to teach it and show it.
I love that. I love that. Now, I do have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So in a world of great keyboard plugins,
Sure.
what would make someone choose a hardware synthesizer or workstation? And obviously Yamaha's known for some incredible synthesizers, incredible workstations. What do you see as the place of these keyboards on a stage?
Well, interesting about, we absolutely work with software. We bought Steinberg in 2004 because we saw the world going that way, and we knew rather than us build our own DAW software, rather than us start doing virtual instruments, we figured that the best thing to do would be acquire a company that, to bring that in there. So, and the other thing is that we have really tight integration. This is an audio and a MIDI interface via USB. So you plug right in, you can play virtual instruments. So we don't deny that world exists. However, there are some drawbacks when you have that. If you ever have any issue with a connectivity issue or a driver issue or something where some gremlin just gets in the system and when you hit the note it goes bing and it's way latent and you try to restart. Well, if that's a mission critical gig that you're on and you're constantly restarting, you're constantly trying to figure out what's going on, With a hardware instrument, you never have to do that. You turn it on and it sounds good, it works good. And the other thing is that I think a lot of times the sound of virtual instruments is great and everything, but sometimes they just sound like you're a little bit disconnected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like using virtual instruments personally in production. I find that's my best use of them. I've tried to use them live, and I've done it, and I've been somewhat successful, but I always end up going back to hardware.
Yeah.
The one thing about a hardware instrument, and this is designed to do what it does, and that's it.
That's it.
It also doesn't check email. It also doesn't have to run another software in the background or deal with any driver things. It's a self-contained system, and just being able to turn something on and go is an awesome thing. However, also having that connectivity to the computer, things like our montage actually is a
Can we take a look at that?
Sure.
Is that fine,
Yeah,
Rosie,
yeah.
over?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
There's somebody over here right now, but
And that's this keyboard here.
yeah, this is the montage right
Okay.
here. But you notice all those knobs and buttons right there. Well, those are used to control the sounds in the instrument.
Okay.
But I can simply go in there and touch DAW control. And now those become control. Those will control 8 different sounds tracks in DAW.
Okay.
Out of the box, it supports Logic, Live, Pro Tools, and of course Cubase, which is our company, right? But you can control the transport. You can control sends of the the knobs will do pan or sends for reverb and stuff like that, and you can easily also interact with the internal sounds while you're connected as well.
That's awesome.
There's also a way to set it up to control virtual instruments.
Okay.
So you can customize things and learn stuff. Most DAWs have the ability where if you want to move a control in a virtual instrument, you touch, like right-click on it, it has a learn, and you move a control, and it automatically updates it to that control. So you can customize your stuff.
That's really cool.
So it's really well integrated to that world. So I think there are benefits. I really like using hardware instruments when I'm playing live.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pull up, the only thing I use for me is like an iPad to watch music, but if I want to do that, these are all iOS compatible as well.
That's
so I could use iOS and play a synth sound. And so, yeah, to me it's just the reliability and the idea that you're playing an instrument as opposed to a connected system.
Yeah, that's
It's just
great.
a different headspace.
That's great. Well, I love it. Blake,
But
thank you
they're-
so much for your time.
Yeah,
this has been
absolutely.
awesome. I think if keyboard players out there watching this, consider picking up a montage, or what was the first keyboard we saw?
YC series?
YC
Yeah, for
series.
people, there's also the Modi X, which is sort of based on montage, but it's a lower cost midline one.
Perfect. Consider adding one of these to your setup. I think what Blake said, having something that's reliable, that's consistent, is going to do wonders for your rig. Having something that can interface with your virtual stuff, that has great sounds in it already, great feeling keys, a lot of benefits there. So make sure you guys check out these keyboards. To see the rest of our NAMM coverage, check out the link in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.